6-3 decision, the Supreme Court has decided to do away with affirmative action when it comes to college admissions. Now, before I get into my thoughts on what I feel about that, I want to also say that they should also have strucken down legacy admissions, because it's not fair for someone's grandpappy who was a former alumni or whatever, or their dad was an alumni, so now I get to be seen before anyone else. That doesn't mean anything. It has nothing to do with my grades, or it doesn't make me, I'm not any more special than anyone else. So I think legacy admissions should also be strucken down. If the Supreme Court doesn't do it, I think the more liberal leaning states should also consider it. But that'll be interesting to see if they even consider it or not, because one of the things that Democrats are guilty of being, they're guilty of being liberal elites, college educated liberal elites. So would those types of people want to do away with legacy admissions? I don't know about that. So we'll see how that hangs around, because that's something that affects and it gives a great advantage for both sides, both Republicans and Democrats. They both have kids and they both be in these prestigious colleges, and legacy admissions also helps them as well. So we'll see how that shapes out down the road. And if I was a part of the opposing side when it comes to this bill, or this strike down of this bill, or this policy, I would definitely bring that issue up, and I would not stop until I get some results. I just look at it like this. It's the end of the stereotype. And what do I mean about that? How many times have you heard in your personal life, whether you were working a job or just in any kind of circle or group that's not your normal circle group, and you hear a person talk about affirmative action in a disparaging way because they don't really understand it, and it's been demonized for so long. Poor whites, educated whites, there's a swath of people who use affirmative action to disparage brown people. So, for example, Barack Obama, everyone thinks he's a very intelligent guy, right? He's got the Harvard degrees. He's got all of this stuff. Columbia, this, that, and the third. Harvard Review, editor-in-chief, and all of these accolades, right? But when he was running for office and all that stuff, people were still shitting on him, considering him an affirmative action case and all of that stuff. They always use that to disparage our culture by saying we wouldn't be what we are because of without affirmative action. Now, which is bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. But now when you take it away, what can you say now? Now, on the flip side of that, we're not going to ignore what's going to happen because of this. Yeah, there's going to be some people that's going to suffer because of this. There's going to be some people that's going to be racially stereotyped or whatever, where they don't get into these universities, the Harvards, the UNCs, all of these big prestigious types of colleges, these Ivy League schools. It's going to affect people in the short term. But at the same time, it could definitely help out with state colleges. I think that this needs to be, this is, of course, a decision. But, of course, once a decision is made, you have to refine it. And every state is going to start refining their own laws and their own policies as far as protecting those who, need affirmative action, who actually need it. But yeah, there's ways around that. But I think the stereotype of needing affirmative action to be great, taking that away and allowing us to be great without it, is a big thing. Look, let's face it, man. There's a lot of ways that you can get your education now. We're online now. You got all these damn internet universities, accredited universities. You got, universities, state colleges. You got community colleges that you can do coursework with. There's a ton of colleges you can do work with. And besides, do you really want to go to these big universities when tuition rates are going through the roof? I don't think you probably do. And we live in a country, clearly, where you can't get out of your student loan debt. Supreme Court just struck that bill down, that student loan bill down. I don't think you want to deal with that type of stuff. So it's like, why not consider a state college? First and foremost, this is a great decision because, yes, these colleges may discriminate, but these colleges are fading away. These big prestigious colleges are fading away because admissions are getting too high. Tuition is getting too high. There's stories all the time circling the internet with the consolidation of classes, and now, or the consolidation of professors losing their jobs eventually down the road because now classes are going to probably potentially get bigger because they can't support all the salaries anymore. I know that's happening in my state of Connecticut. So there's a lot of this that's going down the road. This is just not just with this decision. This decision might actually hurt them because now they'll have less, brown and blacks, and now they won't have that same appeal anymore. Everything goes down. It's a whole ecosystem that gets changed because of this. And like I said, the college system isn't doing as great as it was doing before because of inflation, because of all of these, accrued costs over time. People are looking at things differently now. Like, why would I want to set myself up for forever debt? It's bad enough I can't afford a home right now. I can't buy the things I want to buy. But you think I want to go to college now and pay all this money up the wazoo for this tuition that may or may not help me down the road when I'm looking for a career that I sought out to look for? And there's all of these questions. But the one question that is undeniable, an answer to that question is, you're going to be paying more money for college. Whether you have affirmative action or not, college is expensive. And it shouldn't be. I mean, honestly, we should have tuition-free college. Bernie Sanders was behind that. There's a lot of other people on the left that is actually for that, where you just make state college free and community college free for all. That will settle all of this. You wouldn't even need affirmative action. So, don't, get up in arms about this decision. I think it's time now. I think if it happened at any point in history, 2023 is the best time for that to happen. It couldn't have happened in the 80s. No, because affirmative action was definitely needed in the 80s. And it was definitely needed in the 70s when it was created. The 90s, yes. But now we're in the 2010s. We're in the 2020s now. Do we actually need it anymore? Ask yourself that. And get back to me on what you think in the comment section below.